Here is the Honda Rebel 500 2021 model, but basically based on the 2020 model with the LED headlights and the better gear cover. This is going to be a review, an owner's review of the Honda Rebel 500 based on 7,000 kilometers ride. Here we go. Hello, welcome to the Dean Motovlog. I am Dean Rod Vera, and this video is about my review, an owner's review of the Honda Rebel at around 7,000 kilometers, about 9 to 10 months old. So we're gonna have a short trip, and I'd like to talk to you about this motorcycle and why I bought it and why I love it. This is a 2021 Honda Rebel 500. This is based on the 2020 model, but it was acquired or bought in late April of 2021. You can say this is a pandemic bike, although it was a year after the initial lockdown, but nevertheless transportation and commuting was limited based on vaccination status and all that. So this is a 2021 model. It's got 471 cc's, parallel twin, about 47 horsepower and about 43 newton meters of torque. This has 11.2 liter fuel tank capacity, but as Honda Rebel owners know, we work on a 9 liter thought process or capacity, because the fuel warning light comes in around 2 liters left. And the mileage I get here over the last 7,000 kilometers, I have a high of 32 kilometers per liter and a low of 24, maybe 22. So I average around 24 to 26 depending on the manner of style I ride. If I do mostly NLEX and SLEX with some group rides where speed is the norm, I get around 23 to 24. But if I do what it's made for, cruising, I get a high of 28. I got a high of 32 because, as I explain later, there are speed limits on the Skyway 3. Now, the thought process of how I came to acquire this motorcycle is, ever since I was in college many years ago, I rode on my friend's Ninja. My good friend from San Beda College, Raymond Sueto, at that time in the mid-80s, he had a Ninja 400. And he let me ride on. I was a OBR, a back rider at that time, and I experienced the thrill of riding fast motorcycle. So ever since then, I try to convince myself, when am I going to get a motorcycle? Of course, college, work, career, that came first. And the motorcycle was a backroom dream where it would only come up once in a while. So when the pandemic happened last year, or 2020, before that, let me first begin. I live in the south, Las Piñas, and I work in Caloocan. I am Dean of the College of Law of the University of Caloocan City, as well as its Vice President for Academic Affairs. And from 2017 to about 2020, BC, or before Corona, my commute time, or drive time as you were, averaged 2.5 hours one way, meaning it takes me 2 hours after leaving the house, arriving at work. Going home, of course, in the rush hour, sometimes my record is 4 hours. So that's 6 hours of the day commuting. I said to myself, there's got to be a better way. I'm gonna follow in line here. I'm not gonna be one of those split. Anyway, it's only 2 lane. And I thought to myself, what's, you know, my gasoline expense and my travel time was just eating into my resources. I didn't have time when I got home. I was too tired. And of course, I'm also a teacher, so I'm usually late for class in my law schools where I teach in Makati. So I said to myself, oh look, these motorcycles are going through and from. They're lane splitting, they're doing shortcuts. And I thought to myself, maybe this is what I need. I need a motorcycle for my commute. And one of the requirements I had was that the motorcycle should be what they call expressway legal. And I had many choices. I did, of course, as every novice or beginner, his best source of information was YouTube, where you guys are watching now. I had a choice. My initial choice was the Kawasaki Vulcan S. It was a 650cc cruiser. And I was looking also at the Royal Enfield Interceptor. It's also 650cc, but it had around 45 to 47 horsepower depending on what specs you read. Then a friend of mine, well, my friend thereafter, I saw him actually in my school. He was driving or using a Honda Rebel. I think it was a 2016 or 2017 model. I said to myself, hey, what kind of motorcycle is this? So I did the research and I found out, you know, this is 471cc, expressway legal, low seat height, I think around 800 millimeters or 27 inches. I needed a low seat height because as a beginner or a novice motorcyclist, I needed to be safe, and of course, riding slow, I needed to put my feet down as quickly as possible. I didn't want to be tiptoeing on a motorcycle. I've had experience riding motorcycles years ago, many years ago, when I was part of a cycling group, a bicycle cycling group, and I would borrow my in-laws' motorcycle and I would be the escort. And so I had experience in riding motorcycles. And so I was dead set. I was almost going to buy the Royal Enfield Interceptor 650. It was a classic look. Of course, I'm of that age group where that appealed to me. But it's, I thought, I didn't just drive it, but I thought it has the same horsepower of a motorcycle that's lower, built Honda, and it had about 250 cc's less. So I would think, you know, the power to weight ratio, the power to cc ratio, the Honda Rebel would be, how do you call it, better. But it was 25,000 more expensive. At that time, the Interceptor, Enfield Interceptor, was 360 base model, and this was a 385, the Honda Rebel. So last year I took the plunge and got this, and I've never regretted it at all. This motorcycle has gone through 7,000 kilometers in less than 7 months, or roughly 8 months. In this motorcycle's life of 7,000 kilometers, I've changed the oil 3 times. The first one at 1,000 at the Honda Big Bike Shop in Makati. Took advantage of the free labor and free oil, and then I took a chance and had it oil changed again at 2,000 kilometers here, Racing World, here at the Danghari, near on the Cavite side. And I took my chance because I wanted to see how, you know, branded oil and the branded oil filter Bosch would feel. It did cost me a while. It did cost me a few, but it was nominal to what I was getting at for. I use this motorcycle for both commuting to work. I would bring it at least once a week to Caloocan, and I would ride on weekends, either Saturday or Sunday, depending on whose group I ride with. I have a couple of friends, good old buddies of mine from maybe 20, 30 years ago, and then some work colleagues, professor of mine in UCC, and a former student of mine at Polytechnic, attorney Carlo Alba. And lately I've been riding with two groups, a lawyers group and a group which like to call themselves the midlife crisis people, or gang. So those are two groups I've been riding with. One of the reasons I did choose to get a motorcycle was because of the travel time. I thought that traveling 3 to 4 hours on EDSA, I would cut it down to 1.5 to 2 with the motorcycle style of riding. And then, before I got this motorcycle, the Skyway 3 opened up in Metro Manila, which meant that I was able to go, of course, this is by car, from my place in Las Piñas, or Parañaque if you will, because I take the Sucat exit in the SLEX, to Caloocan in less than 45 minutes, as fast as 35 minutes. And I said, that was my car. I said, oh yeah, I cut down my travel time. Do I still need a bike? Well, I already had saved up, and I decided, I'll still buy it. It then became economics. I would have better gas mileage here, so I would theoretically save money on gasoline. But of course, motorcycling to Caloocan has its disadvantages because fortunately my office has its own laboratory, its own bathroom, so I'm able to freshen up before I get to work. So I would create a schedule wherein I would should be able to look like a lawyer at work, like a dean, and look like a motorcyclist while riding. Here we are in Danghari by the Ayala Alabang interchange or intersection. What can I say about driving a Honda Rebel? This motorcycle fits my riding style. Mainly it's a cruiser, and cruising, relaxing drive is what motorcycle is all about. It'll be, of course, having one of those fast liter bikes, sports bikes, race bikes, has its own thrill, has its own purpose. But this motorcycle, this Honda Rebel, fit my purposes, my riding style, what I want to be as a motorcyclist. I don't need to be fast, not to offend those who can go very fast. I respect you guys, and that's what keeps you happy. But I don't need that speed. So as far as speed is concerned, this motorcycle, this Honda Rebel, the fastest I've ever gotten here was, of course, on the expressway. And I'm a heavyset guy, so in a sense, it doesn't give me the full actual top speed. But if optimums are right, wind, speed, wind resistance, the number of cars on the road, I brought it up to 145 kilometers per hour. But only for a few seconds, because the nature of the traffic, you have to slow down. I've never gone the full length of the NLEX plus TPLEX, where some land speed records were achieved. Personal land speed record, that is. I never got to do that yet. I'll eventually do that once restrictions loosen up, but I don't see myself driving over 150. I don't need to do that. Basically, with my body structure and driving this, I don't think it would be an optimum choice, or it won't be conducive to riding that way. Would I recommend people buy this motorcycle? Yes, I would. It all depends on what sort of rider you will be. If you are in the market for a motorcycle, for a first-time motorcycle, or returning from a long period of non-riding, this motorcycle is a good choice. If you're from out of the countries like in the United States or Canada, of course, there's a different system of riding on the freeways, and of course I've driven in the US several times. I lived there for 2 years when I took up my master's, and speed is not necessarily the essence or the requirement, it's the acceleration. Entering to the highway and overtaking, acceleration is needed. Now, can this motorcycle give you that? Yes, it can. I have done my share of overtaking slower vehicles, even at over 100 kilometers per hour, and it does the job right. For driving in the Philippines, especially here in Metro Manila, this motorcycle, as the minimum for expressway legal, is just right. You can call this a city bike. It does its job. It can maneuver through traffic, it can lane split easily, and it doesn't give heat. I mean, I can stay in traffic like this right now on a stoplight and I don't feel the heat emanating from the motorcycle engine. During this pandemic, I've noticed that there are a lot more people on the road with motorcycles. I guess because, traveling alone, of course, traveling alone, or is best ideal for these times. You're inside your helmet, maybe your wires or a baklava, and you're not going to catch anything, hopefully. Maybe a bug or two if your windshield or your visor is open. And this motorcycle has given me what I need and what I want. Right now we're on Danghari, approaching the I think we're already in Cavite, and this ride is just to show my way of testing this motovlog. This is my first video using a GoPro setup on helmet and recording with a Purple Panda mic into a voice recorder. I've had this voice recorder for a long time. I use it in my board meetings, and a single battery can record meetings up to 4 hours. Of course, the GoPro doesn't last that long. Nevertheless, I feel that was something I can rely on. Testing it, recording on the sound recorder or a pocket recorder versus just using the mic of the GoPro. There is an option for me to buy the GoPro accessory for the mic adapter and to buying a holder that fits the mic adapter. I haven't done that yet because most of the better or the more popular motovloggers have recommended recording through a sound recorder or device such as a Tascam. And this is my test for this vlog. I'd like to thank you for your opportunity to watching my video. If you have time, please give a thumbs up or a like on this video, and subscribe to my channel. It does help it grow. I will truly appreciate it, and best of all, it's free. And as an added bonus, if you like this video, you'll get 3 years of good luck, and if you subscribe after liking it, you get additional 5 years of better luck. Oh, and what's this? It's a checkpoint. Alright, this is where I end this video. I hope to see you on the road. This is the Dean signing off.